The first time I wore workout clothes to bed, my husband looked at me like I had completely lost my mind and I had like three heads. And quite honestly, that's pretty fair because I'd probably look at me that way too. But that was the beginning of me working out consistently with weightlifting for the first time in my adult life. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you every weird thing that I have done and why, behaviorally, in every single one of them because they work. Here's what I figured out way too long ago. I did not have a motivation problem, I had a friction problem. Every time I had to decide whether to work out, decide when, decide what to wear, decide what program, I had already used up the mental energy that should have gone into the actual moving and picking up of the dumbbell. So these hacks are not about getting pumped up, they're about eliminating every single decision that stands between you and starting. Because once you start, it usually is fine, but you have to press play first. Morning momentum. The first one that changed everything for me is I work out first thing in the morning before I'm really even awake enough to argue with myself about it. Not necessarily because I'm a morning person. I'm really not. I'm a morning person by necessity. But a workout that happens at like 5, 5:30, 6 is a workout that actually happens. A workout that I have to do later in the day after work, after dinner, when I'm tired. That has to survive 8 hours of my brain finding reasons not to do it. This is a decision fatigue thing, and every choice you make across the day draws from that same cognitive resource pool. So by the evening, most of it's gone. That's just how our brain manages its energy. So, morning workouts don't require motivation, they kind of run on momentum. And they also set the tone for the day. I'm already up, the weights are right there. And so the math can be a little more simple. Hack two, sleeping in workout clothes. Now, this is a weird one. I slept in my workout clothes, and if I didn't sleep in them, I laid them on top of me, kind of like a blanket. So they were the first thing I touched when I woke up, unless they fell on the floor, because they do that. But the reason is it works is something behavioral researchers call activation energy. The amount of effort required to start a behavior. The higher the activation energy, the less likely you are to do the thing. The lower it is, the more automatic the behavior can become. So getting dressed to work out sounds like nothing, but at 6 a.m., it is a decision. It's a friction when you'd rather just be in the bed. But if your workout clothes are already on, you don't have to pick them out. You just have to get out of bed. It is the opportunity your brain says not today. Sleeping in the clothes removes that decision entirely. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it worked. It just did. Hack three, weights in the way. Same principle, different application. I put my weights in the way, not nearby, not accessible, in the way, between me and whatever I was going to do first in the morning. Now, granted, I'm not talking about in a way that will endanger your children. I want to be very explicit on that because somebody gonna be like, "You put your weights out with it?" No, no, I did not. But this is an environmental design. The idea that your behavior is shaped by your physical space, not just your intentions. If you have to step around your dumbbells to get to, let's say, the coffee maker, your brain registers them. If they're in the closet, they don't exist until you decide to go looking. The research on this is pretty consistent. Visible and in the way beats organized and put away every single time. You can apply that to anything you want to do more of, truly. Leave the book on your pillow, put the vitamins next to your coffee maker, design your environment for the person you're trying to become. It's your visual cue. Hack number four is the one behind rule. The rule is simple. I was not allowed to get more than one workout behind. Not zero missed, one, unless I was sick. Because zero is a rule that creates shame. If I miss a workout, that is the standard of I never miss, then I've already failed. And once I failed, then the spiral can start. Might as well skip tomorrow too. I'm already off track. The spiral is not laziness. That's a shame avoidance pattern. And it's one of the most predictable patterns of human behavior. But one behind keeps the door open. Miss Monday, okay, fine. Tuesday's non negotiable now, girl. It's not catastrophic, so there's no shame. It's just a simple recovery path. You didn't work out today, girl, so you got to do it tomorrow in some form or fashion. It doesn't necessarily mean a full workout, but you got to go do something. And that one rule kept me in the habit through the sick days, the travel days, when I genuinely just didn't want to move. It's not a built in permission slip to quit, but it is a shame avoidance circuit breaker. Hack number five, willing to do workouts first. When I first started, I actually didn't do workouts to reach my goals. I did workouts I was willing to do. And that sounds like I'm describing giving up before I started, but what I was actually doing was building the time habit before I layered the intensity. There's a difference between I don't have the habit of working out and I don't have the fitness for harder workouts yet. Both can be true at the same time, and trying to solve them simultaneously usually ends up meaning failing at both. So I started with the stuff that I'd actually show up for: shorter sessions, lower intensity, things I didn't dread, things I thought were fun, like, dance workouts. It was building the identity of someone who works out every day before I was building the body. Once the habit was locked in, then I moved to programs that would actually challenge me and change my body because that's what I wanted to do. And that's how I ended up ultimately working out with Caroline Gervin. So start with what you'll do and then move on to what will work for your goals. Habit 6, identity declaration. This last one is probably what sounds like the most out there and crazy behavior, but I'm very confident in it from a behavioral standpoint. Every morning, I told myself, I am the person who works out every day. Not I'm trying to be more consistent, not I should really move more. I'm the person who works out every day. My husband actually did this too. It was the first thing he used to say to himself out loud before he got out of the bed every morning until it was true. Not until he felt motivated, not until he hit his goal, until it was true. The research on identity based behavior change is actually pretty solid and really interesting. When you start with the kind of person you're becoming and work backwards to the action, that pattern is actually significantly more durable than goal based change. Goals have an endpoint, but identity does not. You don't actually have to believe it when you start, you say it until you do. The fake it till you make it. So these 6 things are what got me from working out very little or not at all to helping me lose over 40 pounds and actually keeping it off. And here's where my licensed professional counselor background sort of becomes relevant because I was actually applying behavioral frameworks to my own fitness life before I even realized what I was doing. What I want you to take from this is that none of these are about wanting it more, none of them require more discipline or more motivation than you currently have. They all work because they reduce the mental cost of starting. Find where the friction is, remove it, and then you move. So tell me in a comment, which one of these are you actually going to try? I'm really curious, especially if you're planning to sleep in workout clothes, because I genuinely want to know if I'm the only person who has ever done this. And if you want to see more specific programs that I use to build the habits, then I will link those here in a comment. Or if you want more on just like body recomp in general, I can't talk, general, I will link that here on the side for you. Pick your path and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.